Okay, hello and welcome back to our BCH Builder interview series. Today is Thursday, the 20th of November. It's the 6th day of hacking in Blaze. I am here with the USSD.cash team, Clara and Cosmas. Welcome to the show, both of you. How are you doing today? Clara, you first. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Good enough, I guess. Yeah.
Good enough.
Also good.
Good enough. More than the minimum threshold. Okay, great. And this is the first interview I've done with two of you, so I'm very excited to have a team dynamic this time. So I guess starting with Clara, how did you get into BCH?
Basically, it's just, I'll say I'm fairly new to the community, but it's more proximity. I have like many people around me who are like huge fanatics, and they talked about like, oh, BCH every time they were sending podcasts and everything. At some point, you listen, right, and you're like, oh yeah, interesting. I like the ethos. I like what people are trying to do. I like the ideas. So I just kind of got into it. I wouldn't say by coercion, but yeah, I'm glad like I have like all these people around me who are part of the community. For example, Cosmas was like someone who like really pushed the BCH agenda onto me. So I mean, I'm glad he did that, and like a bunch of other people.
Peer pressure. Okay, classic peer pressure. Cosmos, how did you get into BCH?
It's kind of a long story, but when Bitcoin first launched, I think I was in high school. I was probably in about in 11th grade, if I'm not wrong, or 10th grade. So I was hearing Bitcoin, a lot of stuff. So some of my friends were actually mining. It was so easy to mine then. So I just heard about it. I didn't really get into it. But later on, when I started working as a developer, I was doing VM stuff. I did Bitcoin, Bitcoin Gold stuff. Then eventually, when I discovered BCH, I mean, it made a little more sense because it's easier, it's cheaper. So, I mean, I've always been in the space as a developer, but I really got into BCH when I realized how cheap it was to build contracts on it. So I would say I've always been in the background, but I really got into it in the last couple of years, maybe 1 or 2 years ago.
Amazing. That's great. And you obviously have a bit of a team dynamic here. So maybe Cosmos, are you doing the tech side? Clara, are you doing the marketing and the promotion or the sales? Or are you a developer? What's your role in this team?
I mean, the fact that you had those assumptions offends me just a slight teeny bit. But I mean, you're right. I do like the product. So like just thinking, going out and seeing, because you will explain more about the product, but we're trying to acquire users. So going out, seeing how the people think about it, seeing how to actually make a product that would be easy for them to understand, even when they have no idea like what Bitcoin like is or anything. So just talking like the concept side of it, like the product. So marketing, sales, you could say everything. I mean, my background is in slight data. I've tried engineering, but yeah, I just prefer to be on the product side. So I'll leave the technical bits to Cosmos.
Yes, I'm not trying to be offensive. It's just a common pattern, you know?
That was like I needed something to sort of break the ice. But I mean, you're spot on.
Yes,
Good.
that's it. It's like Steve Jobs and Wozniak. Yeah. Go on.
Yeah. So you're actually kind of right, because a big part of any business or any startup is the marketing, the product, the community side of it. So what Clara does is actually very important. I do a bit of technical. I've tried doing that marketing stuff, but it's a bit difficult for me. So we're actually looking for more people. But yeah, I'm the Steve Wozniak of this partnership.
Duo. Yes, exactly. I mean, it's even maybe more important, like I also, my background is more on the technical side, and I was having a terrible time launching all these businesses because it doesn't matter how brilliant your thing is if nobody wants to use it. If it looks bad, it's not really that well explained. It could be the most technical solution in the world, but that's not enough to ship a product. And it's really big for Blaze that we're trying to find people who can fill every different role within a team, because that's ultimately what makes things successful. So were you already working together, or was it that creating something for Blaze made you team up? How did that come about?
I'll take this one. We have tried, okay, not, we've had different projects together, but they were like more consultancy. Like maybe he's trying to do something. I come in like to get the proof of concept, to get an MVP out. But USSD dot cash is the first thing we've really like done together that is like from the beginning, from the ground up, like not consultancy, not trying to build for other people. So like just from an idea up. So we have, in short, we have some sort of work like cohesion, but this is like the first time we've actually tried to start from scratch.
All right, the super team. I'm looking forward to seeing how this goes. And tell me a little bit about the project, USSD.cash. I did not know what that stood for until I looked in the description, but it's a service for using SMS messages, right? So that people can access Bitcoin via a mobile phone, even if they don't have internet. Is that the general concept?
Yes. So specifically USSD. So at least the market we currently are, like a lot of people still are on feature phones. So we were trying to like cater to that demographic of people. So specifically, for example, I'll give like a non-Bitcoin example. The financial platform that does well is like M-Pesa. People like send money, pay for businesses, and like more than 80% of people actually do it via USSD. So that's something that's accessible to people. That's something that everybody sort of knows how to do. And it's like direct for people. They don't have to like get the extra money to actually like, buy a smartphone to access it. They don't have to get the extra money to buy internet, because these are like issues we see for people. So we're trying to get, like get like, this product accessible to them via what they already know and use. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
No. So with go on,
So,
Cosmos.
sorry, to add on top of that, as you can see, I'm recording with my phone, but I have this phone. So what we basically want to do, or what we're trying to do, is anyone can send Bitcoin Cash, and probably other cash tokens via this kind of phone. No internet needed. So that's the short story of it. We're doing a lot of since not your keys, not your cash. We're really trying to find balance that will allow anyone with this phone to access and still be secure. So we'll have loved to do the demo, but it's kind of, we estimated, misquoted the time by about an hour, so it's a bit dark. It's about 8 p.m. right now. So I would have loved to go and shown it in a real life example, but I can send you the video later. So as promised, I visited one of the restaurants on board. It sells some liquor, but I'm here specifically for this soda. So how much is that soda?
200.
200. She said 200. So I'm going to pay using our service. She's willing to take some BCH, so I'm going to send her some BCH right now. We're going to start by inputting our code. So I've put in the code. She's going to give me a number to send, pay for one soda. So I've already put in our code and gone to the option for sending money. Okay. Sending. She should receive a message right about now.
Yeah, she just got a message. We won't show the details too much, but she got a message. Now I can get a soda.
Okay. Same.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you. As easy as that, I paid for my soda using BCH.
Anyone with this kind of phone to be able to send Bitcoin Cash or any other cash token. As simple as that.
And that would work anywhere in the world with those kind of phones, or only on like supported networks, or in certain countries, or everywhere?
I mean, it would work if the like network provider like allows. We can just dial, like we can plug in the USSD, like, but it should be able to work with any network, because if it does with like Safaricom, MTN, like Airtel, which is basically many countries around Africa, we're thinking we haven't like thought about like maybe outside Africa, like the networks out, we haven't like actually tested and see. But I'm thinking it should be able to work with any network, so
Yeah.
abroad. But
Yeah. Sorry, it should be able to work, but for this hackathon period, we're using Africa's talking platform. So it only supports like 5 countries for now, because it's a bit difficult to test USSD without paying for it. So we can only access like 5 countries at the moment, but probably in future after the hackathon, if we are successful, we might pay for one of these APIs, and we'll be able to be called by anyone from all over the world. But for now, for this BCH Blaze period, we're supporting 5 countries in Africa because of our API. We're limited by the API, but ideally, it should be used by anyone, anywhere.
Yes. Yes, well, as you say, it's just an MVP. So even if it only works in one country, that's fine. 5 is more than enough to get something off the ground. And of course, once you prove the concept and it's successful, I'm sure there is a way to expand it and link it up to SMS networks in other parts around the world. How did you get inspired with this idea? I've actually heard similar concepts before in Bitcoin history. You know, various people have proposed this idea with M-Pesa and so forth. I've never used M-Pesa in my life, but I know it because I've heard of people trying to link up Bitcoin to it. Did you see somebody else trying to do this project and you thought, well, they've got the wrong approach, we can do it better? Or did you come upon it independently? How did that work?
So I'll take this one, Clara. So as I said, I've been a developer for some years, let's say a few years there, and I was in the Bitcoin, not Bitcoin Cash, the other Bitcoin community, and I was actually part of a few groups which were building these products. So as you said, I was listening to your podcasts a couple of weeks ago or a few days ago, and you were saying sometimes you need to take an idea from the other ecosystems and bring it to Bitcoin Cash. So I literally just copied, or we copied, I'm sorry, Clara. We copied this idea from a working example. We literally have a working example. So we just kind of ported it into Bitcoin Cash community because we realized it works. Someone already did the market validation, whatever is not good in the market. So we just kind of copied. But I think I'm not a product person. Clara, can you add something on top of that?
I mean, yeah, we weren't trying to like, or think of like something, or like think of something new. We actually saw this is something that is useful. People have tried actually building it. Some have failed, some are like a past like proof of concept, but we saw like a chance to actually also be part of, I won't say pioneers, but part of the people actually building, because this is something that is needed. People have tried. So building on top of it, even though there might be like 2 or 3 other people still doing it. So just being part of the game. And the markets are huge. Dan has worked at scale. So yeah, we just want to take the product out. And to answer your question, yeah, we just did see people do it and we thought it was a really cool concept.
Yeah, well, it's definitely like you say, it's already been market validated. A lot of the time, people are trying to be too new or innovative when a lot of the value in technology is just taking something that's already working a little bit and just making it massive or making it slicker or making it a ton cheaper
Yep.
or even just making it more understandable
Or
to
also
people, you know?
localizing it and local aspect so people can understand it better. So yeah, also the aspect.
Has there ever been a project similar to this from your experience in this
I've
ecosystem?
never No, I've never heard of something like this in maybe one time before. I know there's a team in Nigeria. I don't know where you are, but in Nigeria, they have done something similar to that, or they were interested in doing it. They were trying to do similar with feature phones, but a kind of marketplace. They weren't so much just focused on the basic sending and receiving, but also on coordinating people to do, buying and selling goods between local communities. I don't know what happened to that. I don't think it was a huge success because otherwise I probably would have heard more about it.
Wait,
But I
so
love the concept.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm personally in Kenya. I don't know where Clara is at the moment. She might be anywhere. But so M-Pesa was a big hit in Kenya. So from my experience, Kenya is more likely to embrace this kind of thing than probably Nigeria because mobile money originated in Kenya. So I also have a lot of experience because when I was about, I think M-Pesa mobile money launched when I was about, I think 10. Clara, I don't know Clara, maybe she was about 5, I don't know. So it launched when I was about 5. So it was something I saw being adopted from the ground. It didn't exist before that. So in my mind, I have a feeling that it's more likely to be adopted where it's already been proven, as opposed to trying to prove it in maybe new economies.
Yeah, very interesting. So on the cultural side, then, do people have like a lowered resistance to this concept of mobile money because they're already familiar with it? All around the world, it's so hard. Different people, different communities in different places trying to get people to understand, okay, this is Bitcoin. It's not that scary. You don't need to be worried about it. Blah, 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 blah. It's often a tough hurdle just getting people to accept the concept, but I guess maybe if they already have some familiarity with it, they would be more open to it. Is that what you're finding?
Most definitely. So again, we're using the M-Pesa thing a lot, but because people on their day to day, every day, the economy runs on digital money. So piloting or introducing something else that is digital isn't new to people because every day, for example, M-Pesa builds on top of products. Or you can save. You don't have to take your money to the bank to invest, to save, to send to your peers, P2P, to send to someone else. Anyway, so they haven't tried Bitcoin yet. But again, for the barrier to entry, very low because this is something that is today of people using. So yeah, low resistance.
Amazing.
Very, very.
And so then there's also one other problem potentially then, right, with that is that if you have people that are familiar with it, that's good. It makes it easier for them to jump on board. But on the other side, it's harder to sell them on the benefits. What about that? What is the specific benefit of using a BCH solution over M-Pesa or whatever they're already using?
I mean, M-Pesa is accessible, but it's also slightly expensive. So, for example, I'm trying to send Cosmas, for example, 120 shillings. That's $1. It takes 7 shillings, almost 70 cents. So much transaction fees to the point. Sometimes as much as people sometimes think, oh yeah, I can just use cash. I don't have the transaction amount. So yeah, it's mostly about the cost. We will sell them on that because yeah, no one wants to pay like such high transaction fees every single time they're doing it, every single time. And also to get a number, have to go register and maybe stand in line, get the number, get it approved. If you don't use it for X amount of time, it's out. It's also like a lot of for people sometimes. So yeah, but mostly on the costs. Yeah.
Also,
Amazing.
so the longer we go on, it's a bit more difficult to actually use mobile money because they're bringing in more laws to limit the amount of cash you can send per day. We literally have a limit. We also have something like, let's say you haven't received some money for a long time. When you receive it, they're probably going to block it because they think you're doing some shady stuff. So there's not a lot of freedom going on there. Plus, if you have the extra fees, but then the fees are really crazy because, as Clara said, if you send $1, you pay 7 cents, right? But anything above $1 to about $10, you pay 21 cents. Above $10, you pay about $1. So anything above $10, pay $1. That's very high. It's even probably higher than Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin, not Bitcoin Cash.
Yes, BTC. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So it's the prices because there's a monopoly going on there. So they charge high fees and users have no choice. So we're trying to kind of provide them freedom.
Yeah. Wow. I can see this is definitely, making sense in terms of it's better on the legal aspect, it's better on the financial aspect, it's maybe better on the limits and the ease of use, the usability. So this project's got a lot going for it. How is it going so far with your prototyping? I know you'll send me that video later, but it's day 6 of the hackathon. How much progress have you made so far?
So our biggest issue probably isn't even the tech or the idea. The issue is, testing USSD as a user, as Jeremy from X country. It's going to be difficult for you to test USSD without us having an actual USSD API. So the thing we did is we created a simulated phone on the web. So you go to that link. I'll share it later. You go to that link, you kind of put in your phone number, you sign in, and you immediately get your wallet. You can do all those transactions and everything. So our biggest issue was getting it to demo users. So we actually had to simulate a phone. That's the technical aspect. But what about the product aspect, Clara?
I mean, yeah, if the building is going well, like they're trying to get people like going with these mock-ups, like your SSD mock-up, sometimes just on paper, getting to see if people understand it. Sometimes it's more an uphill task than required, because at least what we've been trying to aim is go for like slightly older people, like everyday people, so we see how they understand the product, how they can actually interact with it. If we explain like in simpler terms, if they understand it, because we see like obviously the younger people, it's easier, and if we're targeting everyone. So on the product aspect, like it's harder, like there's questions sometimes you don't exactly know how to answer. For example, the M-Pesa one, it's like, oh yeah, but why should I use this? I have M-Pesa, like, so it's just this, it's just explaining and explaining again, and then finding, oh, this term doesn't work for this person, and then going, I mean, it's going great, but the first few days uphill task, because getting people to like,
and we're still working on it because actually before this call we had a discussion with Clara, and from a technical perspective it was a bit difficult to explain initially when you were starting this project. Clara was asking me why should people use she was asking as a product manager, so she was really trying to figure out why you should do this. So she was asking me, why should people use our product over M-Pesa? So I had a hard time explaining it to her originally, but eventually I think she kind of got on board. But so that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to convince more people to be like, use Bitcoin Cash, use our service. So at the end of the day, if you think about it from a business perspective, we're trying to convert users to our service. It's not going to be easy. It might face a lot of challenges, difficulties, but that's what we're trying to do. But as soon as you get one user, two users, the network effect will just come into place because it's so easy. So another reason, I literally, personally, I'm very, as I said, maybe I'm just saying, but I'm very familiar with Bitcoin Cash, EVM, UTXO, Avalanche, all those stuff. But I literally had to, when I was buying tomatoes and just groceries, I tried paying using my smartphone, and the attendant, the woman, she had a phone like this, not lying, exactly like this, and so I tried paying. She didn't understand a lot. She just wanted to see a message. I got some money. So that's part of where we got the idea. So I was like, let's make it that simple. She doesn't care. Honestly, she doesn't care how we send it. She just wants to see, oh, I got some money. That's all she cares about. So we try to make that simple. So I come with my phone, I go to a different location, or you come to visit a beautiful country of Kenya. You don't have to face the problem of, oh, I have some Bitcoin Cash, can't pay because no, just come in, do that code, ask her for a number, send the money, and it's done. That's simple. No long story of I need to change. I just spoke some Swahili, so you need to change. We're trying to make that simple.
So you can pay merchants on their M-Pesa accounts with BCH, so they don't need to receive BCH. They don't need to know anything about it. They just get the money and think, amazing.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. But the thing is, for this, just to make it as a disclaimer, for this particular hackathon, we haven't integrated to M-Pesa, so that's on our roadmap. But ideally, the merchant gives you the code or the number, you just pay them. Then they get the M-Pesa. But for this hackathon, just a disclaimer, we haven't implemented that yet.
Yes, I understand. It's going to be the MVP product, but I really like the sound of that because a big problem that we've had with the different hubs of BCH adoption is that it's a two-sided network. It's not even just getting a network, that's already hard, but you've got to get two. You've got to get the consumers, and then you've got to get the merchants, and then you've got to link them up. Whereas if the merchants are already automatically able to receive, they don't need to care about it. Then you can just work on the consumer side. And then once you have a bunch of consumers, they start talking to the merchants. And then the merchants think, oh, this is a good system. And then they want to change, or they're willing to figure out how it works, right? So I really like that strategy of integrating it into M-Pesa if that's already used. Do you have any other thoughts on the sort of larger roadmap? Like, how far do you think you're going to be able to get with this hackathon and the demo we're going to see? And then let's say things are going really well, maybe even with a little bit of extra funding from prizes, or just because somebody in the community wants to invest, what would be the next steps as well as M-Pesa integration?
Okay, so I'll speak on a little bit, but as Clara will tell us more about the product roadmap. But first of all, if anyone from the community is listening to this, highly suggest you vote for us, please. I'm sure there's going to be a link somewhere. Vote for us, please. So apart from that, so as we said, the biggest issue with us is some of the trust. Before people are going to use our service, they need to trust you. But I think we can fix that via cash tokens. M-Pesa is more technical, but M-Pesa cash tokens. We're trying to do some more. Users can deposit the M-Pesa, the normal, not stable coins, the normal day-to-day cash somehow, and then based on that, they can access some other services. So we're trying to do that, but honestly, it's going to be a bit difficult because, as always, it's a bit difficult for someone to trust with their cash. But trying to do that, that's the overall idea. we're trying to do that merchant, user merchant thing. So ideally, by the end of this hackathon, we're going to be able to do two things: P2P via phone number and P2 business via merchant code. So that's a short term for this hackathon. For the longer roadmap, I think Clara can tell you more.
Yeah, sure. So if we have like a working MVP for the P2P, at least we could test that and we can onboard a bunch of users. We see how it works. And then for the merchants, at least in maybe like the next 3 months, we reach out to like a bunch of supermarkets. I know M-Pesa, like the discussions are longer with Safaricom because it's obviously bigger, but we did reach out to like a bunch of like supermarket chains and everything and see the sort of adoptions, see who's willing to like take this as a form of payment. So yeah, basically in the long term, maybe in a year, like if everything goes well, like have integrated with like a bunch of merchants. We also want people to be able to like minus merchants like for FMCG products. We also like have all these other fintechs that offer like lending and savings and investment, so people can use like their wallets to actually lend, to actually like save and like invest, so like the money does more for them. At least that's our plan. Not sort of a marketplace, but just people to be able to use like the wallet and what's in it to like access all these other products. So yeah, concentrating on like the provider aspect. But yeah, I hope that sums it up clearly.
No,
And that's why Clara is part of the team. She explains it so much better than I could ever have done. So
no, I love it.
That's the plan.
I love it. I think it's a good plan. You know, you've got local merchant adoption. You can scale that up to supermarkets. And then if you have cash tokens integrated, then you're already helping to give users access to those more advanced financial tools as well. And then they can start building some wealth. And as I was thinking about while you were explaining it, it made sense to me as well, too, because if somebody can use it on a feature phone, they can also use it on a smartphone, right? So then they would be it would be compatible with everybody. And if they maybe are using BCH and it's working for them, and then they upgrade to a smartphone, they can keep using the same system. They could just bring their wallet across and no problems, right?
Mhm.
So that sounds like a powerful driver for adoption.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So we're targeting feature phone users, but we're not excluding smartphone users. So we're literally targeting everybody, but our main focus is just getting it into the hands of feature phone users.
Very powerful. Okay. I was wondering if my last question before we wrap up, or second last question, is what's one thing that you have learnt during Blaze or by working on this project over the last few days? Clara, maybe you first. What's one thing you've learnt?
I mean, I've learned building like USSD wasn't as easy as I thought. Like the usage is fun, but the actual like validation and everything, not bad. I've also learned like a bunch of technical aspects, so that's cool. I can't pinpoint to just one thing, aside from like it's much slightly more harder than I actually pictured it to be. So yeah.
Yes, building is never as easy as it looks from the outside. Yes, Cosma, what have you learnt?
I learned to build in public. Like this, literally one of the first product I built in public. You remember the Twitter handle is Jonathan Silverblood. So he was asking people to like the first build will get one member. So I built in public. I was like, I'm the first guy. He sent one member. So I'm kind of learning, but building in public is very powerful. So that's why we're out here. We are trying to sell our dream, our goal. I think we might get a few supporters. So we're building public. We're not afraid of it, and hopefully we succeed. And maybe we can empower a few billion people.
Yes, it's a hard thing to do because I think, especially a lot of engineers, and I know this affected me as well, is that you think you sort of imagine it's going to be much more successful than it is. You think that the world is paying more attention to you than you are. So you're trying to, I'm going to get it all perfect, and then when I'm going to launch it, that's going to be fine because I'm going to have everything lined up. But it's actually the opposite. You spend all this time, you try and make everything perfect, then you put it out there and nobody cares. Nobody cares. Actually, you don't have as big of a reach. You don't have as big of a profile. So actually, you've got to get it out there first, and then it's okay. It's not going to be working perfectly, but those first couple of users will instantly tell you, "Oh, you need to fix this. You need to fix this," and it saves you so much time from other dead ends that you could have wasted a lot of time and only mattered in your mind. It didn't matter in reality, right?
Exactly.
Okay,
Nobody cares until you do it. Nobody cares until you do it. And I'm for the a million time. If you're listening to this as a Bitcoin Cash community member, please consider supporting us. We're trying to do something really amazing. Hopefully, we can do it.
Yes, it's a very inspiring project. Okay, I'm going to give you both one last chance to give a sign-off message or any final thoughts you wanted to give. Maybe starting Cosmo, I'll give the last word to Clara.
So again, building in public, we like your support. We really trying to do. It's not the most original idea, but it's been proven market. We have some competitors out there. Actually, we are the competitors, but we're trying to do something new. So hopefully by the end of this hackathon, we'll be able to ship something really amazing. And just like to thank the few people who have supported us so far. I also like to thank BCH Blaze for the opportunity to participate. I'm just naming specifically some people. I'd like to thank Silverblood for sending me my first member, our first member. I'd like to thank BCH Podcast for hosting us, giving us the opportunity. And finally, for just generally the BCH community, anyone watching this, listen to this, thank you for taking the time to listen.
Clara, any final words from you?
I saw you hold your heart, but I haven't had anything like you said the past 3 conversations. So I'll just say, I'm hoping we're able to build like a product that actually helps and works for people, and they can do like more with it, like from the same wallet, and all these merchants can adopt it because it's really the future. So I'm just hoping we're able to build that product and people use it. So yeah, that's just my hope. I have no more to say.
All right. Well, thank you both for joining me, Clara and Cosma. Best of luck with the BCH Blaze submission. I will be watching your project with interest, and of course, we'll link your Dora Hacks Biddle as well in the description, so people can go there and send you maybe some embers or some BCH to support what you're working on. Best of luck, and thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. Have a nice rest of the day.